Actually 7 p.m. This is the Town of Sunderland Select Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Item number 2, introduction of board members. I'm Todd Lawrence. At the end we have Bruce Mattson. We have Marty Nadler to my left, Anthony Thompson to my right, and at the far end, Mr. Rick Timmerman. Item number 3, any additions or deletions to the agenda? Marty, I think we talked about you wanted to discuss an item.
Yep.
I put it just between item 10 and 11, so towards the end. I just called it 10.5, municipal employee retirement plan info.
Yep.
Okay. And then I was going to add just a discussion on a possible special meeting. I was going to include this with, because it's kind of lumped in with Bruce's highway liaison report. So I was going to add a discussion on a possible special meeting next Monday. Anyone else have anything they want to add before we get going? No? Okay. Item number 4, approval of the minutes from September 8th, 2025.
I'll move the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion. Second? No. Bruce or Anthony? Second. Okay, Bruce, second. Any discussion on the minutes? No. Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from September 8th, please say aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Any opposed? No. And then one abstaining, right, Rick?
Alright.
Okay. All right, those minutes have been approved. Item number 5, public comment. Anyone from the public want to discuss anything? No? Oh, okay. Caught me off guard. Okay.
Just came to visit?
Yeah, scared for a
Yeah,
second.
they did actually to see what's going on.
Okay. Item number 6 is the Sunderland Hazard Mitigation Plan with Dara Zink from BCRC. And Dara has a presentation we're going to pull up on the screen.
Usually I stand.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't know what to do with you guys.
No, you can stand.
Maybe I'll just turn face you?
that's
Is that
fine.
good?
Yeah.
And I think,
Still up.
Right, how do you share your screen? I haven't used Zoom in a while. Share.
oh, there it is.
So we'll just scroll through instead of doing like
Okay.
the typical next. So
Yeah.
I'll just be like,
Perfect.
all right. So thank you for having me this evening. I'm Dara Zink. I'm with the Bennington County Regional Commission. I am the Emergency Management Program Manager until October 1st, and then I'll just become a regional planner until we figure out the funding for that work. So FEMA has not responded to ROIs from the state, so the state has not received the funding that is normally used to support my position. And until all of that can get straightened out, the EMDs will coordinate with the regional coordinators for Vermont Emergency Management, and this area is Bill Jones. But tonight, I'm here to talk about the hazard mitigation plan for Sunderland. We're going to talk about avoiding mayhem and what that means. So go ahead, Anthony. That's what happens when you don't open it the right way. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna ignore the end.
I haven't updated license the right way.
It's all good. We're gonna make do. Okay, so what is hazard mitigation plan? Mitigation falls right in the center of FEMA's emergency management cycle. Mitigation can take place anytime during the response, recovery, and preparedness stages, and it focuses largely on building or rebuilding in ways that reduce risk permanently. Hazard mitigation planning is risk-informed decision-making that takes place generally during the preparedness phase. Go ahead. And, this is so not fun for me. Okay, there was a really cute GIF here. That was like, anyway, it's fine. So why do we create hazard mitigation plans? To protect public safety and prevent loss of life and injury, build resilience to current and future disaster risks, prevent damage to a community's economic, cultural, and environmental assets, reduce operational downtime and speed up the recovery of government and business after disasters, reduce the cost of disaster response and recovery, and help achieve other community goals, such as protecting infrastructure, preserving open spaces, and boosting economic resilience. You can go ahead, Anthony. You're okay. So this is Tom Cruise yelling, "Show me the money." So mitigation can save up to $13 for each $1 invested. And for each federal money that you spend, each federal dollar that you spend can save 6. And so that's from the National Institute of Building Sciences Mitigation Saves Report in 2019. So go ahead. Okay, so not only that, but the state has the ERAF fund, the Emergency Relief and Assistance Fund, and are you familiar with this? Todd, you maybe a little bit, Marty maybe? No?
Yeah.
Okay, so, after a disaster, FEMA comes in, so federal, FEMA comes in and they will cover 75% of the funds that it takes to recover. So in this pie chart, we're dealing with $1 million. Okay, we're just saying it's $1 million disaster. So they come in and they're gonna cover 75%. At the base, the state is gonna come in and cover 7.5%. Okay, and then that leaves the town responsible for the remaining 17.5%. So if you break that out, if it's $1 million disaster, FEMA's gonna cover $750,000. The state will cover $75,000, and $175,000 is what's left in the town's hands. Okay? So if you go scroll down, ERAF, you can either qualify to receive 12.5% from the state if you do these 4 steps here, or you can qualify for 17.5%. And I'm going to go over these real quick. So in this case, you have done these 4 things. You're part of NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program. You have adopted the most recent town road and bridge standards. You have your annual local emergency management plan, which you do, and you have a valid local hazard mitigation plan, which Sunderland does right now. So go ahead and scroll down. In order to reach 17.5% from the state, you have to adopt all 4 of the previous measures and protect river corridors from new encroachment, or protect your flood hazard areas from new encroachments and participate in the FEMA community rating system. That's the CRS. Okay. So let's keep going and let's look at Sunderland real quick. So this is the ERAF summary report, which you can find on Flood Ready Vermont under community reports here. If you have this, you can share this with the board if anybody's curious. These links, they actually work.
Okay.
So you can go and find the community reports and pull up Sunderland.
Okay, I'll send the PowerPoint to everyone after.
So if you're curious, so right now Sunderland is at 17.5, so that max ERAF rate. So if $1 million, disaster came through, you would only be responsible for the 7.5 of eligible costs. So let's be specific, right? Eligible. So
Was that 7.5 or 17.5?
7.5 because the state is going to cover 17.5.
Okay.
Yep. So this ERAF rate is the rate that the state covers. Okay. It's kind of confusing. So yes, you have NFIP, you have adopted the road standards, you have your LEMP, you have your hazard mitigation plan, and you've adopted river corridors. Excellent. However, your hazard mitigation plan expires next year, and these things take time to build. So keep scrolling. So that's why I'm here tonight. I don't know if anybody's ever seen What About Bob? He's like, give me, right? Making it happen. All right, so you expire in May of 2026. Normally what happens is Vermont Emergency Management applies for BRIC funding. And if you've been following all of the funding hullabaloo, BRIC was pulled. So we don't have BRIC funding currently. VEM is trying to think outside of the box. The Hazard Mitigation Grant Program funds that went out, that big bundle of money that was part of the July 23 floods and July 24 floods, the money that we're getting for that, they have written in a piece to cover hazard mitigation plans. However, we don't have a response back from FEMA yet on whether or not that's going to be granted. So, Sunderland has a choice. You have 3 choices. You can do nothing and just wait and see, which You know, you would just bump down, you would actually end up at the 7.5% from the state at that point. The state would only cover the 7.5 because you would lose one of those main four. So that's one option. The other option, we can wait and see what happens with the hazard mitigation grant program funding, which we're keeping our fingers crossed, but I don't have any sort of, as the kids say, vibe from BEM on how that's going right now. The other option, the third option, is to pay for it from general funds, which I know a lot of towns are like, and that's totally fair too. So I'm just here tonight to just offer some options. The other option, actually four, is that the town can undertake it themselves. And so it takes about 18 months to do. You have to do all the public outreach, all the meetings you have to go through, and you have to look at all of the hazards and how it impacts the town. And FEMA has so this is reviewed by FEMA. You have to meet very strict FEMA standards. So I mean, if you have somebody on staff that's, you know, familiar and can do that, Anthony?
So I have a question, option 3, so we can pay for it. I assume we would be paying BCRC?
No, you would go out to RFP. You know, you would do an RFP for that, and then we could bid on it.
So what are we talking about?
12 to 15,000. And then other groups, you know, other companies would also bid on that as well. So it's something to think about. I come to you because to get, you know, the process, if you want to, you're going to have a gap at this point,
Okay.
unless, you know, you guys jump through some really quick hoops, but if we can get you up to speed.
Now, in the past with various things with government, sometimes they extend the length of,
We haven't heard.
no, okay.
No, so, and this is through the state, and I have not heard BEM say we're going to
Okay.
extend that. So I'm kind of waiting, but everything from Caroline, did you meet Caroline Paskey?
Maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, she has not indicated that that's an
Okay.
option at this time.
Because this is a pretty big thing throughout the whole state. I mean, there's probably, I don't know how many towns are going through it right now, but there's probably a decent amount.
There's a ton going through right now, so we actually have a backlog, because the HMGP funds that are being hopefully released for the big mitigation projects that were put in, they require completed hazard mitigation plans.
Okay.
So everybody who went to apply for those said, oh no, we need to complete our hazard mitigation plan. So Caroline, who reviews them, it was like a landslide on her, and so she's still working through those.
Okay.
So what exactly on option 2 are we waiting to see what comes?
The hazard mitigation grant program funds, that's what we're waiting to see if they'll be granted, and we don't have a solid timeline on that.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Hoping later this fall.
But we could be sitting around May and still not unsure. Because I think we started discussing funding back in maybe December, and we were waiting because when VEN made that transition with more employees, I think we
Right.
discussed it, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with them then.
And then brick got pulled out from underneath.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so you don't have to make a decision tonight. I just wanted to come here and talk to you about the plan itself, why we do it, and then just kind of give you some options to start to talk about.
Okay. Do you know of any towns that do they produce the plan themselves? That's what I was thinking.
I haven't seen one yet. It doesn't mean that they're not out there, I just haven't seen one yet. Because usually it's grant funded anyway,
Yeah.
so why put the town through, you know, creating a plan if you can just contract it out? But, you know, it is an option.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to the emergency management director for the town to see. That's me. So, to see. Okay.
So but what I will say is that as information comes through, I'll make sure to share it out.
Okay.
Because we have multiple towns in the same situation that Sunderland is in right now, where they're gonna hit that gap
And it's a 5-year plan?
It's a 5-year plan, yeah.
So, I mean, the potential for natural disaster, it's a pretty small amount.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other towns in Bennington County that are due?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a handful of other ones
Okay.
as well. So that's just here tonight to share that with you, to bring you up to date. I mean, if you have any questions about what it looks like to do one, I'm more than happy to walk through what that process looks like as well.
Okay. Yeah, we'd probably I'll have to research a little bit, and I guess maybe next meeting, I can put it on the agenda and we can discuss it a little bit more
Okay.
once I get some more info. Does that work for?
Yep, if you have questions between
Okay.
now and then, just send them my way, Todd,
Okay.
and I can answer those, so
Okay.
that's fine.
And then, yeah, can I ask other questions too, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just,
While we're here.
Regarding the funding for the Regional Emergency Management Committee, this affects that too, right, or no?
So it affects my role within the Regional Emergency Management Committee.
Okay,
So not the funding associated with hazard mitigation
Okay.
plans. So while they both impact me in a way, one is there's no funding for hazard mitigation plans on the municipal level
Okay.
right now. And then my EMPG funds, Emergency Management Performance Grant
Uh-huh.
funds, those restrict what I can do with the EMDs.
okay. So I should probably talk to the interim Regional Emergency Management Chair
Yes, you should.
to reach out to you.
Have a very deep conversation to reach out to.
It's me again, okay. Okay, this is great, okay.
So yeah, so
Okay,
until that gets straightened out, which we haven't had a no from FEMA, it's just there's been a delay. So we're hoping within the next couple of months, those funds will come back around, and I'll just go about my business as usual,
okay,
pestering everybody with emails.
okay.
I will be still acting as a local liaison, should anything happen. Those funds are done through a MOU with the state. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with how that works, the RPCs all have a representative or two that when there is a disaster and the state needs situational awareness of what's going on, they activate us and we reach out to all of our municipalities basically and say, what's going on? Do you have anybody stranded? Do you have, like anybody dead? Anything like that, like what's going on in the town? And we collect that data, put it into a web emergency operations center, and then that feeds up to the state, and then they have a whole mapping process so they can actually see what's going on around the state. So I will still be able to act collecting all of that information. So that hasn't been discontinued, but just the regular day-to-day work will be
Okay.
a little different.
All right.
All right?
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, in the case of anything going on, if you need me, obviously, I'm still available.
Mhm.
So, all right.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
Thanks very much.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. It's
Appreciate
always
it.
great to see you all.
And that's okay if I send that email or the
I will send
PowerPoint?
you
Or the,
a PDF so that it
Okay.
doesn't go like that.
okay,
We'll make it look better.
The actual PowerPoint came through, on this particular computer, we couldn't open it.
okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, then you should be good.
Okay, all right, appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Thanks, you too. All right, so, yeah, so I'll try to get more info and next meeting
So I just sent you back in July of '24, Arlington put out an RFP for their
Okay.
plan, so.
Yeah, I know, I think Sandgate just went through it, and then Manchester, I think, was going through it. But yeah, Arlington must have,
It's-
because usually I don't see RFPs, usually I think they just go with
Yeah.
the regional commission, so that's good to see. Okay.
No, it's pretty much everything you probably need is right there.
Okay, thank you. If nothing else on the hazard mitigation plan, item number 7 is Rick, and about the Bennington County Regional Commission liaison update.
Oh, yeah, I actually made the meeting the other night.
Okay.
Just a couple. Basically, it was a pretty lengthy meeting. They covered the it was the watershed plan that they have to do for the Battenkill,
Okay.
Woomsack, and the Hoosick Rivers. So it's a plan that has to be done every 5 years, has to be updated, basin plan. The one thing that they mention is the roads, town roads need to be updated, completed by 2026 to meet the requirements. They talked about that, and then they also talked about the Flood Safety Act outreach, which is Act 121 with the state of Vermont. Basically, the state trying to, limit the amount of flooding in our streams and rivers. And they had a very interesting presentation how, over time, the state has tried to build up banks to control water, but that actually creates more of a problem because the water goes faster and makes it deeper, and so they realize that the state, most of our towns have rivers going through them, and it's a serious issue, especially with the recent flooding. So that was just informational about the Flood Safety Act outreach program.
What is Act 121?
It's Act 121.
Any questions for Rick? No? Yeah, at the last two emergency management conferences, this year and last year, flooding is usually one of
Yeah.
the big categories, and this year was more a lot of the FEMA stuff and a lot of the grants and bridge construction, but the year prior was a lot of like the responses, and they've talked about, the way of thinking before was like just channelize everything, and then the velocity.
Either
is-
dredging or building up banks, and it's
Yeah.
just made it actually worse.
And now it's kind of like, oh, it's actually good to throw trees in there for the fish, and then it helps with
Which
slowing stuff
ironically,
down, and
I went over Route 11 yesterday, and on the other side of Magic Mountain, where they had all that tremendous flooding,
Yeah.
there's a couple houses and garages that, they're actually working and putting up walls to try
Oh,
to,
yeah.
they're doing exactly what they say you shouldn't be doing right now.
okay. Well, thanks for. Is that a quarterly meeting? Or I never know with that one.
Oh, these guys,
ECRC.
I think it's November is their next meeting.
Okay. If nothing else for Rick, we can keep moving to number 8, Highway Liaison Report with Bruce.
So we have 6 applicants for the road crew. Some are for the foreman and a couple for worker. Marty and I are gonna start Wednesday interviewing them. And then I guess we'd like to have the meeting next Monday to discuss that. And then the truck is actually gonna be ready anytime. And did you call them, Rick?
Actually, I talked to them this afternoon on some other business, and it's still probably not gonna be until the end of next week.
Yeah.
So it's still, it's at the paint shop. They should be back sometime this week, then they just have to go through final check, so.
So it was a contracted price, right? And it didn't change?
Um,
I think it was like just
It's
under
like
100.
99,000 and change or something like that. Yeah, I actually have a copy of the quote, so.
99,995 something.
So, and then, depending on our situation, I have business up there, so I mean, I can run Keegan up there if it's, when the truck's actually ready, we can go through it and make sure. I mean, I used to sell those trucks, so I can make sure they are giving us what they quoted us.
Yeah, I could do it. I worked in the I guess we can discuss that later. That's about all I have. Are we going to approve to have the check so it can be gone and picked up?
No, they don't need that. They will send us an invoice, and
Yeah,
Good terms.
their comment was if they get an invoice to us within 30 days of the schedule, so no, we don't have to pay them with a
all
check.
right,
Okay, so we'll wait for the invoice to come and then we
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I thought they might have wanted it when they went to pick it up, but
That works out. So, I mean, realistically then, 30 days, so we might not be paying into mid to end of October. I mean, we have the
Yeah.
money, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
so pretty much all I have.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess if I can jump in with your report, yeah, just to talk about the special meeting. So our next regular scheduled meeting is not gonna be till Monday, October 13th, just because how the Mondays fall. And so, what's that, 3 weeks? And we kind of want to start getting some stuff moving as we get close to winter. So that was the thinking, is maybe we would want to have a special meeting. It'd be one of those meetings, you know, we're not going to discuss personnel in public, but we have to have the public meeting. We'd go to executive session, discuss the applicants, and then see what decisions, if we have to make a decision or not. But that's what kind of the thinking was, maybe Monday, the 29th. Want to do it at 7 PM if, I don't know what anyone's schedules are like.
I should be back by then.
Marty?
No, I have to look at shut my phone off.
I got no issues.
You got no
So-
issues?
Then I
And Bruce, you're good?
Calendar.
Good.
Yeah, so that way, you know,
It's probably okay.
okay.
I have to just check.
I don't think we need to vote on that one, I don't think. Okay. So yeah, as of right now, we'll plan on a special meeting. Again, it's open to the public, except then we're gonna enter executive session to go over the applicants. Monday, September 29th at 7 PM. And I'll do an agenda, I'll send that out, and we'll post them in town.
Oh, I'm not gonna be here,
Okay.
29th. But, I mean, Bruce can provide the information,
Okay.
you know, from the interviews.
Okay, so you're okay then?
Yep.
It's the 29th?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so if we're good with that, I'll send that stuff out. And then, the one other thing I had for you, Bruce, is Jeff Dexter has been asking about coordinating to get that structural survey.
Yep.
I don't know, I told him I'd mention it tonight. He sent an email today. I've been tabling it with him just because of stuff going on. But yeah, I figured I'd ask tonight, and I don't know if you want me to reach out or if you want to reach out to Keegan. Jeff says it's gonna just take about 15, 20 minutes.
Actually talked to Keegan about it today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. But I don't think any time, I guess, would be all right.
Okay. So I'll just coordinate with Jeff and have Jeff reach out to Keegan, or I'll just ask Keegan some times that are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at that today, you know, they were talking about the insulation on the ceiling.
Yeah.
The walls were all wet, and I'm sure the insulation on the sides is probably worse than the ceiling.
Okay.
But I guess they haven't really decided what their plan is.
Yeah, I know, I don't know what company the contractors that Jeff's kind of working with, I think came out of Shaftesbury at that one time. And, yeah, I don't know, he said about 20, 30 minutes, or 15 to 20 minutes, I think he said, just to poke around and check out the structure.
Yeah, I remember the girl, I forgot her name, but she was talking about the insulation on the roof
Mhm.
and not doing anything on the sides, and I'm not sure if that's the way to go.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was, yeah, all that, I think, hinges on the basic framework, and then we could move on to if it works or not for that building. Okay, so I'll coordinate with Jeff and I'll let you know, Bruce, what time.
All right.
Hey, Tom?
Yeah.
I thought I saw it on here, but apparently it's not something, I just have a little information from the sheriff's department.
Oh, okay.
So I can do it under new business.
Okay, yeah, we'll just add it down to new business then. Yeah. Sorry, that was probably my mistake. Okay, anything else for highway liaison?
So we have one crew member currently, is that correct? And he's grading the roads and stuff?
Yeah, that's correct. Right now, yeah.
Is that what he's done grading?
He's grading and,
Looks good, it looks good.
Yeah, he's doing real well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, he's holding down the fort. He's doing a good job.
He had assistance in a previous week from Arlington, like doing culverts, so he's
Sure.
also got a good rapport with them, and that helps us, right?
Mhm. I guess I did have one other thing that Jeff was asking about, and I guess it's tied to the highway department, about and that's also the MERP grant, the pedestrian doors. You know, Jeff's been talking about the two.
Yeah, the back door isn't too bad. The side door is pretty bad.
Yeah, I guess he was trying to find a contractor to come swap out the doors, because per the MERP, I guess the architect said we should replace the two pedestrian doors before we do like a new blower test and infrared test or whatever.
Shouldn't we do the, make sure the structure is safe and then go from there?
Yeah, okay. I'll let Jeff know and then we'll go from there.
Who is taking front on that? So once we decide the building's,
Yeah.
structurally sound, but getting the bids, getting a contractor, who's actually executing on that?
My kind of thought and kind of I think what the plan is that the big stuff will be through Centerline,
Right?
like when we get the split units and stuff. But the little stuff I think was the energy committee was trying to go get quotes and then come back to us. That'd be my understanding of what was going to happen, is they were going to run around and get quotes, come back to us for the, and then we'd approve it. But, so, yeah.
I was just curious, like if that was not within the scope of the project management that they quoted us?
I think it was, I don't know if we had that discussion in that meeting. I think most of the big stuff was, but I don't know if they're trying to, I don't know. I have to follow up. I don't want to give answers that I don't 100% know. But yeah, that's something I can follow up on and see.
I thought the small stuff was just falling under our procurement policy.
Yeah, maybe that's what
The strips and.
the under the 5,600 or something like that, whatever the policy purchasing.
5,000, yeah.
Maybe that was what it was. That's what I'm thinking of. I'll have to go back and look, but.
Yeah.
And I think it was the bigger stuff that was going to go with the bid, and then that was when Centerline was going to kind of take over.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I can look back and see.
Yeah, I
There's a
would
couple
only be
names.
concerned if they were struggling to find somebody, right? Like them having to take that ownership and actually get somebody to do that work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if nothing else for the highway liaison, sorry Bruce, I took probably too much of your time for that one.
Fine.
Okay. Number 9, emergency management. So yeah, we heard from Dara, and I'll coordinate with her and try to get some more info on both the topics. The other thing that I was going to just quickly talk about was the drought conditions. I think we're going to get rain this week. We're supposed to get like 2-3 inches, I think, throughout the week. Could be wrong. But yeah, the state's kind of in a severe drought for the most part. Forest Service sent out some press releases today. They're implementing fire restrictions in the Green Mountain National Forest beginning on the 22nd. So yeah, any kind of building, campfires, charcoal, grills, outside of a provided metal fire ring, those are kind of prohibited, and also smoking, with the exception of within an enclosed vehicle or building, at a campsite, or anything like that. and I don't know how long it's gonna last, but that was the stuff that's going on today. For the severe drought too, they mentioned, the state sent out a thing regarding wells, and they were concerned about well water, especially shallow wells when it's dry like this. And if we hear any reports, or I'll talk to Caroline if the clerk gets any reports to let the state know if we're having any groundwater issues. I think our well in my area is pretty deep though, so I don't think we have any.
Have you ever seen the swamp as low as it's been?
Have not, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it where you can see bottom,
Yeah,
never.
and the,
32 years I've
Really?
been here, yeah, in that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's low.
there's, I don't know who owns it now, but it was the Leggett's house with a pond. There's probably a lot of hockey pucks in there right now, but, you know, it's bumping.
family.
It's dry, very, very dry. Yeah.
Even the swamp on 7, going south on 7.
Cassock.
Yeah, I mean, very, very dry.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, last I looked, we're supposed to get like almost an inch of rain tomorrow. I mean, it's gonna take multiple storms to kind of fill everything back up, but I think tomorrow through Saturday or
Yeah,
something.
Thursday looks like a good day.
A good day?
Good day,
Okay.
yeah. Old fashioned rainy day maybe.
Yeah. So that's all I had right now for emergency management. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
All right, number 10, Sunderland Shines update with Anthony.
Yeah, no major milestones, but essentially the two groups, task force, if you will, that were created out of the Sunderland Shines, had a meeting last week, and they'll continue meeting monthly. One of them is for community spaces, so they're interested in, you know, our wetland survey to see if there's anything viable here, whether it's a walking path around the perimeter or the pavilion that's always been talked about. The school, the status of that's so far down the road, that's hardly even able to be talked about. And then, of course, the church, which has a pretty steep estimate for repair and honestly limited viability. So that one, other than, like I said, the wetland survey, and if, you know, a walking path or a garden could be put here, are kind of the ideas that they're interested in exploring. And then the recreation group is looking at trails that are here, if we could map them, if we could develop them. Not as much progress from that group. It was a small gathering, and, you know, they'll be following up in meetings. So yeah, not, like I said, a whole lot, but, you know, making sure that they get the information that they need and are supported in what they're trying to do.
Was there any discussion on funding for these projects?
Well, so the whole community visit process is to help create a vision for the town, right? So, like, what do they want to see? If it's status quo, great. If they want to have some development, great. Once they have tangible ideas that they want to follow up on, that's where they get the expertise from, you know, BCRD on how to seek a grant for that, how to, you know, whether it's fundraising or grant or a combination. So until they have like a tangible action that they would want to execute on, you know, the funding's a secondary conversation at this point. Yeah.
Have they even, I'm just thinking of some of the other plans that I've seen, and have they probably haven't started discussions of if they wanted to go a different route of forming like a community nonprofit or anything like that, have they yet? Probably haven't got that far.
No, not yet. One of the things that they might form is like there's a Vermont Mountain Biking Association, so they might create a local charter, so that way they could, you know, have a formal, you know, website and community that schedules time where people will go volunteer and work on trails, stuff like that. So that would be like an official organization they create. And then very long down the road, but if the school does go up for sale, some sort of nonprofit to run that as a community center would be a pie in the sky idea. So nothing in the near future, but technically some potentials for both of those.
I have an update on being able to sell the school.
Yeah.
We don't have to keep it for 5 years. If we wanted to sell it prior to 5 years, we would have to pay T&G back for all of the major projects they did, and I have the number in my phone. I think it's $175,000. It's
Right,
really
so that
not
would come out of
much.
any profit.
Yeah, if we-
Right.
yeah, so, we could sell it immediately if we wanted to.
Yeah. And I guess the confusion that they have is for those first 5 years, in what limited capacity, if any, could they use it, right? So if they sell it to the town and we say, all right, we want to make a community center and
Yeah,
lease it to a nonprofit or,
Yeah.
however that looks.
We're not obligated to keep it in any condition where they could use it back as a school.
Okay.
So we could do whatever we want with it, and we could sell it, or we could reconfigure it.
So the other concern that the group has is if the school district decides not to sell it to us for, a couple, maybe 3 years, while they determine what they're gonna do with it, if they have any use for it, is there any pushback from us that could be employed if the school sits vacant and then potentially in disrepair because they're not maintaining it, because they're not using it?
Well, I think they're obligated to offer it to us for $1. It's not they can't choose to keep it. We can choose to not buy it.
Right, so if they close it, that's
That's the deal. Either it's closed and we can, if we don't buy it for $1, it's the town, the community, I guess the district is still gonna own the property.
Sure.
And we don't have any access to it, to the building or the land.
Yeah, I guess the question is if they sit on it for 3 years before then offering it back to us, what?
It would go immediately, Marty's right.
Right,
It'll
okay.
go immediately, you have an option to buy it for $1 or not,
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
for sure.
yeah, and then if we don't buy it, then it's their building.
Yep.
And if it collapses around them.
You'll buy it.
No, I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, well,
What a guy.
I can send out the transfer and merger document to you if you want to.
I think, that's probably helpful.
Or I'll send that out.
At least to squash any of these theoreticals that are,
Yeah.
rumored and.
I mean, the decision that they came up with is not gonna sit well. Where
No.
the theory is to send the Sunderland kids to Dorset,
Yeah.
which is even further than what they originally were going to. But there is some logic behind it, and the logic behind it is that the Dorset school is not suitable as a temporary middle school. I mean, the gym is not a legitimate sized gym. It's not a complete, full-size gym. The rooms are configured differently. Many of them are smaller. And, the whole building is relatively small. So the reason that they didn't opt for option 3, which was the one that would have done it all at once, was that the middle school staff throughout the TNG said that Dorset was just not appropriate for a middle school for 5 years. So that's why they decided to keep the middle school at MEMS.
Yeah, I was just thinking pie, it goes back to that pie in the sky kind of thinking too for the trails and the community stuff. I mean, the town of Sunderland, I don't think it would probably, I don't want to speak for the board or whatever, but in terms of the funding of things. But I know with the community visit and the Vermont Council of Rural Development, and, having them kind of link up different agencies with like the group and providing contacts. I was thinking a couple weeks ago about when the park or the forest ranger came back in, was it April? April and May?
Yeah.
I think April or May, and the other individual from that land trust was talking about the plot of land up on the edge of the national forest, that the whole purpose of them buying it was to provide a buffer. And that kind of led me down this train of thinking of, well, the national forest could still get that buffer if for some reason it became like a town forest, and then that town forest could have trails. My hometown of Milton, Vermont has a town forest with trails and mountain biking and stuff, and that stops development, but at the same time people have access to the woods as opposed to just another 100 acres added on to 86,000 acres that's pretty much cut off from any kind of recreation use, right?
Yeah, and I think they explicitly stated that they wanted non-motorized recreation,
Yeah.
and they kind of wanted the town's support in that, that structure on the property. But yeah, that's.
But that's what, yeah, I was just thinking about, and there's grants and groups and stuff that do town forests, and that was just my kind of thing I was thinking of for the Sunderland Shine to maybe poke around with,
Yeah.
if they were looking for land to do stuff with trails. I mean,
Yep,
kind of two birds, one stone kind of thing.
that they are.
Anything else for Anthony? No. So yeah, we have the addition, agenda item 10.5, the municipal employee retirement plan information from Marty.
Yep, I mean, I sent all this stuff out to you guys. It's a little convoluted. The bottom line is currently now we have a 5% end of year, contribution to the employees for them to do something with for their own retirement. And the least expensive employer contribution would be 5.75%. And then it goes up to 7.25% or 9%, depending on which we choose. So any of these would require us to increase our level of contribution. Plus it requires the employees also to make a contribution. Now, of course, it's a tax, it's a tax-free contribution, but it would decrease their take-home salary, as would be the change from our current model to having a municipal retirement model, because they would have to. It would cost us more money each year, and the employee would lose not only the current way the system is going at the end of each fiscal year, but also their own contribution of 4.25% or 6 and 5/8%. So there would be a reduction in the net employee salary over the course of the year.
Any questions for Marty or discussion? This is just the initial, we're not voting on anything
No.
tonight. This is just the initial, just kind of research and discussion.
I mean, there's a lot of information.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
info.
Yeah. But the bottom line is it'll cost us more
The
money.
different groups, the ABCD.
Group A is the least benefit, and then Group B, it provides a better benefit, and Group C provides even better benefit. Group D is not available to us.
All right, so we have to choose
Yep.
which group we would.
Mhm.
There's, you want to go, Bruce, first?
So the employee part, depending on the taxes, sometimes it equates their contribution, say if they gave $30 a week, after the taxes, might be only losing like $10.
Yeah, it's possible, but they can't control their contribution. It has to be 4.25% of their salary.
Right.
So if somebody's making $32 an hour, that comes out to over $66,000 a year. So 4.25%, 5% of that would be 3,200. $3,300. So this would be a little bit less, maybe $2,800, $2,900. And if you divide that by 52 paychecks, you're talking about $50 a paycheck.
Yeah, but then again, you have to look at the taxes and see how
Yep.
much difference that would actually, in some cases, they benefit on it.
Yeah, they would have to do the, they and us would actually have to do the math. But I don't know what tax brackets, the employees are in, because I don't know any additional income that they might generate.
So I was going through it, and so just like my background for civil, so like part of my career, I have like a pension, right?
Mhm.
Not that, it's a couple years, I'm vested or whatever.
Right.
And then another part of it, or another state, I have a defined contribution. And that was, from my understanding of this whole thing, there's two, the first choice we'd have to make is if we choose to elect into this Vermont retirement plan, you would choose either, and you can only do it once. Once you go into it, you can't change it ever again. Would Sunderland want to be a defined benefit, which would be a pension, or would Sunderland want to be a defined contribution, which is like a retirement plan, like a 401? So it wouldn't be, because that simplifies things. Because I'm just looking on this one handout right here, the Retire Well Vermont, and it's you'd pick either between a defined benefit, which is where it goes into the percentages and the groups, or you have the defined contribution. The defined contribution is the participant pays 5%, the town pays 5%, and then plus an additional like 1.26 administrative fee. And then the difference is it's with the pension plan, obviously you have the vested and it's based on your time and all that, but the contribution plan is like if you're in the system and you can take your money with you, that kind of stuff, and it's more stable, so it's a lower cost. So I guess, as we move forward with all this stuff, the town would have to decide, do you want to offer a pension, or do we want to offer like the defined contribution?
Yeah, I have no information on the defined contribution, but, because the information they sent me was actually only on the pension, and they talk about, creating a final average, an average final salary, and then your maximum is 60% or 65% of that, after so many years. So the information I have is really strictly on a pension.
So just in that packet of stuff you sent us. So it'd be one of the handouts is municipal DC or DB comparison fiscal year 2026. It's a 6-page PowerPoint. And like right now, the town offers, what is it, like a 5% bonus?
Yes, a
bonus
5%
check.
bonus at the end
And so
of the year.
that's kind of in line with the defined contribution, but it would just legitimize it being a retirement contribution. So the employee would pay, we would pay, but then we would also get like a 1 point whatever administrative fee. So there would be an added cost, but it would probably be cheaper in the long run than a pension plan, because in the pension you're guaranteed income for the rest of your life, and the other one's kind of like you can have the state manage it, or I think
the defined contribution is almost like a 401k.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's what I'm
really
saying.
what
Like,
it is.
I just want to make sure there's two choices, and that's the first thing once we get going is the town has to make the one permanent decision is do we want defined benefit or defined contribution? So.
Well, the beauty of the 401k is that the employee has the option, of adding more money to it,
Exactly,
or less money.
And it's all pre-tax too.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It has it broken down. So I would take a look at that because it's got both, and it compares both plans side by side.
Yep.
Just because I know long-term pensions are expensive. So.
Yep.
And then also with mobility with employees nowadays too, like the defined contribution compared to the pension, because you don't have the same vesting period of 5, 10, whatever the year is.
It's only 1 year for the defined contribution.
Yeah.
Right. And you could take it with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you could take the the pension with you as long as you're a municipal employee.
Yeah, that's true. Because my first job, I was there underneath the vested period, but they had reciprocity with my next employer.
Yeah.
And then you could vest the time that way.
There's a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah.
But what really is going to come out to it, it's always going to cost us more money.
So, I actually have two questions. So, it does state that once you elect a specific plan, you cannot go backwards to a lesser plan. So, I assume if you go contribution specific, you could then upgrade to a pension type of, I forget the terminology, but essentially going up, but you can't back down. The other question is just like, is this if we choose to participate in-beamers, or is there some requirement? Like, I'm just curious how we
No, but it's our option.
were investigating this for
Right.
ourselves. Okay,
Just for ourselves.
just making sure I understand.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's, what are the requirements? You have to be, for like the town employees to be part of it, you have to work like 26 hours.
26 hours, you have to have minimum
Paid
of
a
26.
week.
Yeah, 26 hours a week. I mean, all of our employees work
Yeah.
more than 26 hours for them to qualify. And we can't get Plan D. Plan D is only for state
Law
police.
enforcement,
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and if we did elect to do it, the earliest we could start was what, April?
April of next
If we
year.
decided to do it
Yep.
later on.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the thinking behind it too was, especially with getting how competitive the market is here for, road crew and stuff. I think we've had a couple comments about, some potential applicants getting cold feet when they realize that we're not part of VEMR's or.
Right.
So I think, long-term, this would benefit the employees, but it also benefit the town.
Yes, it would,
Retain them longer.
it would
Exactly.
retain, yeah, you'd have the longevity of employment.
Yeah.
Is what you'd have. Yeah.
Okay, well, keep researching?
Yep.
We'll keep looking into it?
Yep, I'll just keep on gathering more information and, put it together and
Okay.
put it out to you guys.
Yeah, and then at some point, I guess we'll have to see like numbers and before the next budget, November, I would say, right? When we start talking about budgets?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks for looking into that, Marty. Appreciate it.
Not that far down the road.
No, it's
I know.
not.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's 3 more meetings.
November, yeah, November's coming, it's at the end of September now.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. If we're good with that, item number 11, old business. I have for the first thing on the old business, the review of the wetland native plant survey on town property. I think I sent this out to everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so my understanding, what was it, beginning of September, Dubois, and King came and surveyed the town property here. It's about 11 acres. They surveyed for wetlands and native plants, endangered plants, stuff like that. I'm trying to piece together everything, but basically, there's portions of the property that are class 2 wetlands, more towards the east,
Yep.
the woods here. But then I was looking at some of the map there's that one map on here.
The whole area is class 1.
It's class 1, yeah. And so we're either within, basically the whole lot is either class 1 with the 50-foot buffer, or the class 2, the tamarack swamp forest to the east. And then they found some different types of plants and goldenrod and maybe some bats and stuff, monarch butterflies. So it kind of limits, I think it limits some stuff, doesn't it? Basically,
It's a
Well,
little confusing.
I don't know.
It is confusing.
I guess my understanding is like there's limitations, like you could have a walking path, you couldn't go out and use heavy equipment to build structures without a permit. So it's not that you
Okay.
couldn't do it, you would just have to get
Okay,
a permit from the state to do so.
gotcha.
Because it's not that it's not feasible for construction, it's that it's not,
It's
it's protected, right?
Okay.
Because it's a wetland, it's protected, and therefore you'd have to get a permit from the state for certain activities.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit different than when this building was proposed, because this was specifically the site, the only place on the
Right.
property that the
Yeah.
building can go. So
Yeah.
There was a question about special plants, that,
Yeah.
they're mowed they're mowed.
Yeah, so that
once a
was,
year.
they did mention that, some of the plants out there, so that's something I guess we'll have to follow up, because they didn't really give any recommendations or anything in the survey.
No, they did not.
So we'd have to follow up and see, well, if we are haying that or mowing that, do we need to stop?
Sounds like you're good.
Yeah, I guess maybe not look into it too much.
Yes, sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
So yeah, so I think for the MERP grant, obviously we did the
These are the
survey for the
applicants.
MERP grant to find out if we could site a solar, a bank of solar panels out there. So we'll have to follow. I think the MERC guy, the Energy Committee guys are still going back and forth with them to find out what specifically, if they can do it or not.
So why don't we pass that report on to Centerline?
I think they have, yeah, because this got sent to Jeff, the Energy Committee,
Okay.
so I'm assuming, I was trying to find the email in here. I think he's been talking with them.
Allison,
Yeah, but I'll follow up with those guys and see where we're at. But yeah, I was looking through it and I wasn't sure. But yeah, everything has kind of an exemption, so, or possible exemption. Any questions on that? No? We talked about the door down at the garage. I added VLCT Town Fair, October 8th in South Burlington. I think Bruce, Marty, myself are gonna go. Anthony, you're unable, right? You're not gonna go? Okay. So that's all I had for old business. For new business, Rick will add you for sheriff.
Yeah, the only thing I had, it's gonna be a new sheriff in town. October 1st, Corporal Scott Legacy, who was, you know, he was with Bennington Police.
Okay, yeah.
He's now with the Sheriff's Department. He is gonna be patrolling Sunderland. The current sheriff, Jason
Thomas, I think.
Thomas, he is moving on and he's gonna be working at the courthouse. Lieutenant Roscoe Harrington has been promoted to, I forget what it, they're all moving up, but in any case, we are gonna have a new sheriff. I was gonna reach out to Sheriff Gully and see if maybe Officer Legacy could come and introduce himself to the board so we could at least meet him. And then we did get a report, Todd and I stopped by, we actually were successful in downloading the information from the sign and sent that off. I actually was able to figure out how to send it off down to the Sheriff's Department, so they're gonna analyze that. This really isn't part of the sheriff's, but we did discuss it, possibly getting additional brackets and another battery. Do we want to wait till the next meeting, or is that was all paid for out of special projects fund?
Yeah.
Is that
Right.
something that we,
So, I mean, what's the cost? I mean, it was marginal, right? $60?
I think that when you buy the signs, they were $60 for the brackets.
Uh-huh.
And I forget how much one more battery is gonna be. It's a couple $100.
Okay.
Do I just keep the brackets where they are, or does that add some more?
Add some more, so then it's just a matter of boom, 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 just.
Right.
And then we have 3 batteries, and Keegan was saying that if he gets 1 week out of 1 battery, 2 weeks out of 2 batteries. So if we get another battery, we can leave it set up for 2 weeks at a time.
I mean,
And then the other discussion was, probably bring it in for the winter months, so it doesn't get destroyed. Hit with, snow and everything else and salt.
Well, people probably drive slower in the winter anyhow.
I mean,
Theoretically.
Hopefully they've got good snow tires.
Yeah. Well, but even so. All right, so if you'd like to, I could make a motion that we spend money from the special reserve, for the special projects fund for an additional set of brackets and a battery.
Why don't I get some quotes, and,
Okay.
I don't think we need it.
Yeah, do you want to do that in the next meeting, just?
Yeah, I'll get some quotes, I'll send
Okay.
them.
And then I think we're,
We can decide how many brackets we want, whatever.
yeah, okay, so I'll add that to I mean, it's pretty marginal, the cost, but yeah, we'll just add that to the meeting. Battery and brackets. And then I think Keegan at some point is gonna relocate that sign, because we had a couple of those repeated residential complaints. So I think he is gonna try to relocate it the next opportunity on Kansas, just before going over the hill. So So hopefully the resident, we can get some data on that before we look into other further, more kind of extensive modifications on things out there. Okay. Anything else for new business or for sheriff? Sorry. Okay, item 13, review correspondence, signing warrants.
Oh, you do not forgive me, I have to meet somebody.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for stopping by, I appreciate it.
What's being naughty?
This is not working?
My
I'll
pen.
give you all over the
What is it? My
tomorrow.
pen's
And
not
then, item 14 is everyone works their way through the warrants. Item 14, executive session if needed. Does anyone need an executive session? I don't think we need one.
Not that I
Tonight.
know of.
Okay, you guys want me to just keep moving? So we're gonna do a special meeting for the select board on Monday, the 29th at 7 PM. Okay? So after that special meeting, the next business meeting, the regular
There's
scheduled
three on
business
the-
meeting will be the Sunderland Select Board on Monday, October 13th, 2025 at 7 PM. And that's all I have for the agenda until we're ready to adjourn.
Has any of the ARPA money been spent?
So the,
Just curious on where
Special
that's-
projects.
But it's now
Special
special
projects.
projects.
They
So-
just rolled into a special project fund.
Yeah, okay.
so we've, and it's fine, I guess, so we have a significant amount still for that. We've used some of the special project funds for, what have we used it for? We've
The
used
signs.
The
the
signs.
speed, the radar sign,
Right.
the radar speed sign, the welcome to Sunderland signs. Some of the lower kind of priority things. What else is there? We're having an external audit
This is for you to
done
look at.
on our finances because it's been about 7 or 8 years. The plan for that was to, because it's $22,000, we didn't know the cost. It's gone up from 12,000 to 22. So the plan was, we have, I think 18,000 that was in our account for that, or somewhere around there. And then we were gonna supplement that with special projects to get that rolling, and then we would have a budget item moving forward. So that'd be a one-time cost out of that, just to get that going, because it's been so long to get a external audit.
Yep.
That was the big stuff.
Right, we still have about
We have a couple things.
250,000,
No.
give
Just curious.
or take a few dollars.
You know,
Yeah.
identified and if you're moving forward with the
Yeah.
path, et cetera.
Yeah, I know, like, for, what I was thinking was, we had a whole list of things, and then the school issue came up. And I think that's put, at least for me, that's kind of put like, hey, we got, almost a whole year's worth of money in the special projects, general fund type stuff. Let's hold off and see what happens with the
Yep.
school,
Understood.
and kind of knock off some of the smaller stuff. Yeah.
How about the standpipes for the fire?
Oh, yeah.
I have the quote, we just have to spend the money. Hawley sent me the information a while ago.
Okay, we'll have to follow up with them.
Yeah.
That was another thing, we were gonna use some of the special projects money to, the fire department swing down standpipes that, for the fire department, so they would go on, like, one would go on Hill Farm Road and one would go on North Sunderland Hill Road Bridge. And then, the fire department could just lower those, they would just tip over into the river
Draw water
to pump water.
instead of a dry hydrant.
Just
Yeah.
dry hydrants, yeah.
And so there's a whole there's a whole, foundation that does it.
Was the
Every-
dry hydrant guy,
Troy Adair, yeah. And so that's who we've been kind of working with, and, I don't know if it'll
They're
get
not
done.
expensive, the drop down.
It wasn't too much, it was like $6,000, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about our share, because there's
Yeah.
money that gets supplemented.
Yeah, so I don't know if it'll happen this year, but it should, we're trying to get it done this fall, but if not, it'll be in hopefully the springtime.
Yep, okay. Good.
Anything else?
I think, at least my feeling on that special project is we're gonna run into expenses that we didn't plan on running into.
Yeah, everybody does that.
Well, I mean, we're gonna miss out on some funding that used to be available.
Yeah.
So, I think it's save it for a rainy day.
Used to be available through the state?
state, federal.
Got it.
like the hazard mitigation stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to, this next budget cycle, we'll have to start maybe getting creative with how we plan for different stuff coming down the road. Any kind of capital improvement funds and stuff
Yeah, one
like
of the
that.
things I think we've never really taken into consideration are the, on grants, the matching portion from the towns
Yeah,
that we need to budget for.
Mhm.
You know, because we, yeah, great, we get 80%, but we don't have the other 20, so.
adds
so-
up.
Yeah,
It sure does.
Yeah, budgeting is key.
Yeah. All right, if that's it, item number 16 is adjourning. If anyone wants to make a motion.
I got one more, just
Okay, never mind.
quick question. Do we have any idea with the reappraisals, how long that's gonna take or where they are in the scope of it?
Well, they came to my house.
Well, that's great, you're taking care of it.
No, yeah, sort of, I guess.
All set now.
Yeah.
I mean, last I heard was this project, the whole thing wasn't gonna be, because they started, was it last summer? Or was it this summer they started?
This summer, I think.
And it was gonna be until like 2026 or 27.
Yeah.
The whole.
The whole big reappraisal for the entire town is gonna
Yeah,
be.
it takes a year. It
Does it take-
takes about a year.
So we wouldn't see any kind of effects of that until it's done completely.
Yeah, see,
So right now, they're just gathering the data.
yeah, have they been to your house yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can look, yeah, you can look on,
That was my
on the
understanding.
website. You can look on the website to see what they say they saw.
Yeah,
Because they weren't going to, from what I remember being told is, when they do this whole big reappraisal, they can't go and like, this neighborhood's done and start implementing them, but these people aren't done.
No, no,
So
I
they were gonna wait
understand
until the
that.
whole big, yeah. But I remember it was maybe like summer of 27. I don't know if that's right, but that's kind of what I'm remembering,
Yes,
Yeah.
all set.
yeah. So,
Bruce, have they been out of you?
I got a note saying they stopped by.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, and they need to be invited in, right? You know, you don't have to let them come in your
Brought
house.
them in for coffee or anything?
No, I did not invite them in for coffee. In fact, I didn't invite them in at all.
I wasn't home.
all right. Anything else?
No, I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion, any final questions? No? Okay,
You did it.
all in favor? Not yet. All in favor of adjourning at, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, we are adjourned at 8:12 PM. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Bruce, is